craving some comfort food with a kick? Ashley's Q has you covered, serving up deliciousness every day of the week. Start your week with a taste of the Bayou. Our Tuesday seafood gumbo is packed with fresh flavors that will transport you straight to the coast. On Wednesdays, sink your teeth into our country fried beef brisket, crispy, tender, and oh so satisfying. Thursdays are all about the creamy, dreamy Alfredo. And when Friday rolls around, it's time for our famous fish fry. And on Saturdays, we are serving up juicy prime rib and savory pork chops that'll make your weekend unforgettable. And Sundays, it's soul food celebration. Hot chicken and waffles, meatloaf and gravy, fried chicken, turkey chops, barbecue ribs, oxtails, smothered neck bones, catfish, and that's just the beginning. Come find your flavor at Ashley's Q, located at 8718 West Lisbon Avenue. Call us at 414-935-2190. Ashley's Q, where every dish is cooked with love and every meal feels like home. See you soon.
Blessings, everybody. This is Dr. David D. King, and I'm glad to be with you guys. I'm excited to be with you again tonight. I want you to tag your family, your friends, because we're going to have a great time tonight on Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry. That's what this is about. Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries. And I have one of the two dynamic doctors in the house with me today. And this doctor is not your ordinary doctor. This doctor loves God. This doctor, not only do he love God, but he loves God's people. And he's always willing to help and be a blessing into people's lives. And I met him during the COVID. We both spoke at a rally during COVID, and we've been friends ever since. So I'm excited to have him with me, you guys. Y'all can see I'm not in my studio today. I'm sitting upstairs, and I wanted to get comfortable because I know this is going to be a great show. So y'all help me welcome Dr. J. Welcome, my brother.
In the house.
Dr. J in the house.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here. Wow, great introduction.
How are you, sir?
I'm alive and well, kicking, full of energy, ready to educate. I'm hoping that the listeners, will ask us a few questions this evening. So we cover a lot of different topics on this particular podcast, but most importantly, we always keep God in the middle of everything. God created the planet. God gave us the resources. God gave us the plants. So I'm a big plant guy. I'm really into the herbs. I'm really into, keeping things natural as much as I can. So I'm excited. How about you?
I'm excited, because every time I get with you, I learn more, and that's the beauty of it, especially when you are on an assignment for God, and you got to keep the temple clean. You got to keep the temple healthy. So I'm excited to have a friend that have all the knowledge that you have to help keep my temple together, as well as my family and everything, because I'm an herb guy too. Once we go back to the things of God and do it the way God wanted it done, it's a blessing. So I want people to know that's watching, tag your family, your friends. You'll be able to ask questions, and we will answer those questions well, I ain't gonna answer nothing. I'm gonna get out the way. I'm a doctor of theology, but he's the doctor. So I'm a decrease and let him increase, so that we can be a blessing to each and every one of your lives. I think one of the biggest things that we have a problem with is that we end up in the hospital. We got all these tubes on the inside of us, and we'll say God is good, right? And I think the problem that we have is we neglect the temple, right? And what's supposed to go inside the temple, how to keep the temple healthy. And, it starts when your spirit man is healthy, then the temple can be healthy. And I want you to touch on that because see, when you said that the other day, I added to my ministry. When I'm ministering to somebody and they telling me they got a problem, I say, I know what the problem is. They be like, what's the problem? Your spirit man is sick, and this is why your body is sick. So come on, let's go ahead and start talking about that.
I don't even know where to start with all that. Oh boy, my mind is racing. But yeah, what we were talking about in the past was just simply understanding that, you know, God gave us this body that we inhabit and allows us to do his work and to go out and to preach and to bring those closer to God, right? Well, you can't do that if you're sick. And unfortunately, you know, man gets a hold of certain things and maybe make some bad decisions along the way that can affect our environment and our lifestyle, or maybe add just a lot of stress to our bodies. So, you know, when we look into the biblical aspect of things, we understand that, you know, it says your fruit shall be your food and it shall be your medicine. And I take that literally, is that your food is your medicine. But, you know, they could have added another piece that would have came later with the advent of man's technologies, and that is, and food can be your poison. You got to be careful.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, because there can be, you know, just like there's good and evil, there can be good food and bad food, you know, and unfortunately, we're being lied to. You know, we are being duped and lied every day.
Can we put a pin right there because you just said something that was like pow, pow. So let's address that. Food can be good for you, and food can be bad for you. So if I was a person and I'm green in shifting my lifestyle, okay, when we say food, because I just saw an article and I really want to address it. It was talking about they just approved chicken that was made in a factory.
That's nothing. I was talking to a lady in Canada that was trying to peel a banana. She's a friend of mine in Toronto. And the banana wouldn't peel. It was like, you know, she had to take a jackhammer to it. It's got this new coating called peel, right? What is that? You know, I don't know. A lot is happening to our food. Franken food is what I call it. But if you think about how our bodies were wonderfully made, they were made of the earth, by the earth, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. When I look at it that way, I go, well, then the food that is grown here is probably what we need to nourish ourselves. Look at all the animals in the insect kingdom, the reptiles. Everybody's, you know, kind of in the food chain, right? And so are we. But then when you take that natural order of things and you start making things that don't exist natural or in nature, nature's gonna have a hard time with that. And your body is of nature, right? So when we say your food can be your poison, propylene glycol is not something that grows on a tree. Polysorbate 80 is not something you grow in a garden. These are additives, these are preservatives, these are chemicals that do not belong in the human system. Yet, you go to the grocery store, they're there, you know, and it's kind of scary. But you're right. Keep the temple clean, right? It's always, to me, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. In other words, I do something called an AO scan, right? As a doctor, I need a way to quickly assess someone to help them. Because believe it or not, every single person who's ever been sick knows what's wrong with them. There's a first. But a lot of times we don't listen, right? We start conjecturing. We think it's this or we think it's that, or we get diagnostic. Yes. But you know your body better than anybody. So if you listen to someone, you know what's going on. I can run what's called an AO scan, which can kind of zero right in on what's going on with your body, what's going on with your temple, what's going on with your mind, what's going on with your emotions, because all of those things are just as important to our health as good food. We need a positive attitude. We need faith, right?
Yes.
We need those things just as much as we do good food. So it's about balance, you know, and David, we talk about this all the time on this podcast about balance, right?
Right.
Balance, physical balance, emotional, mental, they're all equally important, but our medicine doesn't always focus on that. I know if I'm jumping around, I apologize because I get excited when I have the chance to talk about the fact that we are multidimensional beings in God's image.
No, you're doing great, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. So, how do you keep that system going? Just like we need spiritual faith. And we go to our congregations and we get in front of the Lord and we feel better. We feel energy. We feel energized. That's a nutrient, right? Singing the gospel is a nutrient. I'm a guitar player. I play music. So every time I can get into folk music, hymns, it feels good. It's an energy. It's a nutrient. But so is a positive attitude. It can be a good nutrient. A negative attitude can be a negative nutrient. So we have to think about in terms every day. What's the best air? What's the best water? What's the best food? What's the best prayer? What's the best rest? What's the best vacation, right? We have to do what's best for us to take care of us so that we can continue to do his work. It's that simple. It's not difficult. But people make it complex because they think, well, I can go to the grocery store and everything that is on the shelf has probably been approved. There's the problem. Approved by what? So we have a lot of chemicals, we have a lot of poisons, we have a lot of additives, preservatives, pesticides, herbicides that have gotten into the supply, including genetically modified. I could do this all day. And that stuff's not meant to be in you. So it comes into you. And now we've got maybe a negative attitude. Maybe we're having a bad day. Maybe we haven't spent a lot of time in prayer. Maybe we haven't spent a lot of time in reflection. We're not eating well. We're sad. We're depressed. And the next thing you know, the temple gets pretty dirty. And that's what we want to talk about on this show, is different aspects of how we can help you from a natural perspective, how we can bring things into your lifestyle, change your environment, and help you with stress. And I just want to get back to this point of running what I call an AO scan, because it's very, very good. It's very, very quick. And I don't have to cut you, poke you, prod you, bleed you, or make you go to the bathroom. All you have to do is talk. And in 10 seconds, I got a nice way of just kind of figuring out what's going on with the harmony of yourself. I know that because I've done it with over 25,000 people and never hurt anybody. The only thing that ever happened was somebody got better. So that's a pretty good track record. So I hope, people that are listening can, reach out to us and find out that we have tools, we have methods to help you figure out how best for you to be your optimum self. I love that word optimum, David, don't you?
Oh, I love that word.
Don't you just want to be optimal?
I know, right? People be like, huh? What? Yes.
Yeah.
And let me say this, those that are watching, if you guys got any questions, throw them up. We'll put them up. And Dr. J, he's qualified to handle it. Why don't you give them a background of your qualifications so they don't think we just playing around here?
Sounds good. I've been in medicine for over 40 years, but various aspects of that. I started out in nursing, I worked in surgery, and then I worked in insurance agencies, working with medical underwriting. Long story short, it took a long road to get to where I'm at with a lot of medical background. But my father got cancer in 1990, and they pretty much gave him, 6 months to live. And anyway, I started dabbling in natural health, and I got into various things. And so it changed my whole perspective because, he was still alive a couple of years later by doing things like, pine bark and shark cartilage and something called pycnogenols from the pine bark and just various aspects and things that I knew nothing about. I was never taught in medical school. So that led me on a journey to fast forward that I got back in school and I never stopped. I started learning about natural health and herbs and holistic and all of the things that you hear about. And one thing led to another. I ended up with getting a PhD, and then I ended up getting 3 of those. And I ended up getting 2 doctorates, and I have 4 boards. So I've been around the world. I've taught pretty much every hemisphere. And I've written, 6 books. I've thousands of articles. I've been on TV, radio, film. I've done internet to as many as 2 million people listening at one time. So I don't want to blow my horn. I just want to say, I kind of know what I'm doing. So, I'm teaming up with you guys because, I'm here. I've got experience. I can help you. Nothing's a guarantee, but I can help you figure out how best to get your body and your your mind and your faith back in the game. You know, with the help of Holistic Health Ministries, I'm sure we can help you in every aspect of your life. Would you echo that, David?
I would definitely echo that because even me, being a basketball coach, you know, and just always on the go, you know, and beating my body down, and then all of a sudden I get tired. Then all of a sudden I started taking the herbs and everything my body was missing, and you know, my mind ain't racing as much, and you know, some days I can be up all night, you know, and you be like, I ain't even tired, something weird, you know. No, your body is done its thing. So for me, I echo this, and this is why we set up Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry. And again, I got to thank you because when I was in Colorado and called you, you know, we was able to put it together like bam, you know, and so because we really want to be a blessing to the people. We want people of God to know how to stay healthy, how to fulfill your assignment, how to allow God to do what he wants to do with you as an individual without being bent over and fragile and things like that. So yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'm gonna put a question on the board on the screen. Somebody,
bring it on.
There you go.
I'm ready.
Alrighty, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. So the questioner is asking, you know, as far as what's happening with the heart, and sometimes our heart can skip a beat, and this can be known as what's called arrhythmia. And they said even though they're on a medication, you know, taking magnesium, drinking water, you know, what can I do to help with this, right? Well, number one, you know, you're doing the right thing. You should always seek out professional medical advice first to find out, you know, there could be something bigger at large. The heart skipping a beat is not something you should take lightly. You know, it could potentially throw clots into the body, and that's the biggest risk that you have. But the answer to the question is just like, what can I do in addition to this? There are many things that I would recommend, but the safest thing I would do first is something called CoQ10. This is a supplement.
Yes.
And let me explain why. Okay, so if you took a cell out of your fingernail, or if you took a cell out of your bicep or your thigh, you know, anywhere, grab a cell, and you looked at it under a microscope, there would be a couple organelles or what's on the inside of that cell known as mitochondria. And every one of your cells in your body, every single cell in your body has one or two mitochondria. The reason for that is because these little guys make energy. They make energy for the cell. And their primary fuel for making energy in the cell is CoQ10. And we do get that from some dietary sources, but a lot of it has been processed out of our foods. That being said, if we were to take a heart cell, let's say we could go in and take one cell out of your heart, and we looked at the inside of that cell, there wouldn't be one or two mitochondria. There would be hundreds per cell. Every one of those cells making up your entire heart, hundreds of mitochondria. The only part of the body that has it that way. Why? Because the heart never takes a rest. So you need a lot of generators. You need a lot of mitochondria. So think about it. If the heart may be skipping a beat, working a little hard, there may be a little extra blood pressure, maybe it doesn't have enough fuel. So one of the most interesting things we find with CoQ10 is it's necessary to keep the heart going. For example, if David, you were giving up your heart to me, you were so kind to be an organ donor. We had a blood match. I needed a heart, and you gave me your heart. You had to get that from Milwaukee down to Florida. You know how they would do that? Take it out of your chest, they put it in a cooler, and they would fill the cooler with, guess.
CoQ10.
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 Think about that. As I just said.
Right.
Each cell in the heart, all those cells, every one of those cells has hundreds of mitochondria. They all need CoQ10. So they literally take your heart, bathe it in CoQ10 for a transplant. That's how they keep it alive. So Doesn't it make sense? If you're not getting enough in your diet, maybe you should supplement. And what would happen to the strength of the heart?
Mhm.
Get stronger. And here's the next best thing, because a lot of people say, well, I don't know, and my doctor, and blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to that, okay? CoQ10 is the most widely studied supplement on planet Earth. There is no other supplement that has been studied more than CoQ10, and they can't find a thing wrong with it. Why? It keeps your heart going.
Awesome.
Now, the brain also uses more CoQ10, and so do the gums. So very, very interesting. So to answer that question, that's something I would say is very easy, safe, not going to interfere with medication, not going to interfere with your lifestyle. Now, get a good source, because not all CoQ10s are equal. There's a lot of garbage on the market. If you want a good CoQ10 source, you need to contact us. We'll get you in contact with the best on the market, the most bioavailable, worth the money. Okay. I don't recommend garbage to anybody. I do not trust my health to, some box store on a corner. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
It's your health. So if you want good CoQ10, talk to us. And I can tell you why. I could talk about CoQ10 for the next 20 minutes and not bore you. But I will tell you, this is what I would recommend for that particular question. Good job.
All right.
What else you got?
I know, right?
Bring it on.
And let me say, you guys, how much of a blessing Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry will be for your life. To visit a holistic doctor and to do what they do you guys know that it would cost you, because your insurance is not going to pay for it. So it would cost you anywhere from $150 to $500. Am I right about the price?
Oh, more than that.
Okay, more than that. But because of Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries, the doctors will see you only if you're a member of Kingdom Holistic Ministries. You can get the first visit at $80, and then is it the follow-up? Am I saying it right? The follow-up visit?
Yeah, it's like 50. Mm-hmm.
At 50. So you guys,
cheap. People with my education, and also Dr. Houston, Dr. Hartman. We have quite a few doctors, by the way, that are in the wings that want to join this. If you guys help support this, it'll take off, because there's a lot of good doctors that I call humanitarians. Look, I'm not going to be egotistical here, but I could easily get $500 an hour, and I've gotten it. I don't want that. I want to be accessible. Okay. So we keep this for our members at a very, very cost-effective measure. And we work for you. Okay. We want you to be better. What I tell people is, if you want my kind of help, Dr. Houston's help, Dr. Hartman's help, give us 3 months. If you're not going to give us 3 months, don't even start. Because it takes time to correct lifestyle behaviors, to change diets, to get people educated on maybe what's going on with their posture, what might be happening in their bodies that they need to correct, before it becomes too late. If you think about it, a lot of us don't go to the doctor until we're sick. And that's the wrong way to practice medicine. Okay, notice practice medicine. The best way to medicine is to say, prevent what's going to happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What if you boosted your immune system and you never knew what getting a cold was? Or you boosted your immune system and never got the dreaded COVID? Or what happened? What if you did that naturally and had a better defense? Yeah, you can do that. I do it with people all the time. It's amazing what we do. Okay. And it's simple things. We'll go as simple with you or as complex as you want to be. But one thing is, we're never going to waste your money or your time. That's for sure. That's why we're here. A lot of us are volunteering more or less. We need a little bit of money to keep the lights on. Come on, you can appreciate that. My board's cheap. But David's right. We're doing this out of a mission for God. We want to become true humanitarians as doctors. I want to put a positive face back on the medical community and back on physicians in general. Because, they got a lot of bloody noses and bloody eyes over the last, couple decades here. And rightfully so, because doctors need to step up. All doctors. The definition of doctor means to teach. It does not mean practice medicine. Look it up. So what does that mean? That means if you're going to an MD and the doctor's not teaching you anything about your cholesterol except how to take a drug, you need a new doctor.
Yes. And so, and I'm grateful again, you guys. If you got questions, throw them up on the screen. I see people all popping in from Texas and Jefferson County, and
Yeah.
I see a good friend, coach at Kingdom Prep Lutheran with me. So y'all throw your questions up. And again, this was birthed out of our PMA, Private Ministry Association, and we wanted to set up a kingdom community. And God has blessed us to do this. That when I was in Colorado at my granddaughter's vacation, I'm on the freeway, and next thing you know, it was like, hey, this is the part we need. And I was like, let me call. And I called DR.JAY. He was like, sounds good to me. And next thing you know, he went and got all the other doctors that's involved, and they all love God, and they all love God's people.
That's right.
So we want you guys to understand what is Curtis. Curtis, all the way in Texas. God bless you, sir. Suggest what would you suggest for my cholesterol?
Okay, the question looked a little different. I'm going to assume that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what my doctor suggested for my cholesterol. So I'm gonna twist the question. What can we do for cholesterol?
Yeah. In other words, what are you going to do? You walk in and then, well, first of all, let me say this: labs equal drugs.
Okay.
And that is not political. That is not a conspiracy theory. It's just a fact. You don't get medication unless you have an abnormal lab. Think about it. Any abnormal lab you've ever gotten, you end up with a drug. So how do you avoid medication? Well, you got to get back to perfect labs. And that's a focus. We can do that through scanning you. We can do that through dietary, applications, supplements, living a different life. But to answer that question, and I can never answer any question in a minute, so please bear with me because I want to teach you something. Okay? Cholesterol is a myth. And every time I say that, a lot of people get upset. Okay? But the bottom line is it is a myth. Cholesterol needs to be in your body. It makes every hormone in your body. If you didn't have cholesterol, you'd be dead. Cholesterol surrounds every cell in the human body to protect you from cancer and environmental pollutants and toxins. So if you don't have cholesterol, you're dead. So why is it so bad? Why is everybody focused on it? Well, nobody even knows at this point. Okay. The bottom line is you may have a total cholesterol, which we now know scientifically doesn't mean anything. We know that we have high density lipoproteins or HDLs. We have LDLs, which are low density lipoproteins. And we know, okay, what about that? Well, the HDLs are the good ones and the LDLs are the bad ones. And we get that far and we're like, the doctor keeps telling me my LDLs are bad, so I got to be on medication. What they don't tell you is there are 3 parts to an LDL. There's a large, medium, and a small. And the large and the medium are actually good for your heart, and the small is bad. So of the LDL, 2 are good, 1 is bad. So if you say LDL is bad, you don't have the whole story. So, wow, already you should be going, wait a minute, what's going on here? Well, bottom line is maybe 10% of people with, really bad cholesterol, and maybe as high as 30% need a medication, but 70% probably do not. In fact, there was just a white paper study was released last week that they're saying 43% of every person who's on a statin doesn't need to be on one. That's almost half. Well, hallelujah. It's only taken them 30 years to catch up to what I've been teaching. Cholesterol is a myth. 51% of anyone who ever died of a heart attack, 51% of everyone who's ever passed from a heart attack had a normal cholesterol. If cholesterol was killing us, the numbers would change. So you've been lied to. Now, Does that mean stop what you're doing? No, you have to have a conversation with your cardiologist, with your physicians, your GPs. And you got to say, wait a minute, how necessary is it? Why can't I make dietary changes? Why can't I make lifestyle changes? Maybe I can exercise. Maybe I can lose a few pounds. Maybe I can eat broccoli for breakfast. And the next thing you know, you come back in 6 months and the cholesterol's changed. You didn't need the medication. How come you never have that conversation with your doctor? You need to start looking at yourself. Why aren't you asking questions? And I think everybody needs to do that. They should be educated by their physicians. I just said that. Instead of just, you've been there 10 minutes, you got bad cholesterol, here's a drug, next. That's not helping anybody. In other words, that just gives you a license to keep eating bad food. So what can you do? Exercise, eat different, add fibers, drink water. There are herbs, many different herbs. There are many different fibers that can be added. There are many, many different things you can do to lower cholesterol. You can work with bile salts. I tell you, you want a program, you want to get that down, I do it with people every day. Reach out to us, schedule an appointment. In an hour, and we'll know exactly what to do. In probably 6 months, you're going to be loving every minute of it because you're going to get your health back, you get your body back. But you got to do some work, Don't just let people hand you medications and surgery every time you turn around. You need to ask questions. Yes, there's a time and a place for drugs and surgery, but it shouldn't be the first thing that's offered to you, ever. Okay? Think, ask questions. Come to us, ask some questions. As a doctor, I'll tell you, if I think you need surgery, I'll be the first one to tell you go get surgery. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. But there may be things that you can do to avoid that. Okay, so a lot of the physicians, unfortunately, in our countries, when they're brought up through educational pieces, they're fed a specific stream of information, and a lot of that comes from big pharma. It comes from the lobbies. I'm sorry, this is not political. It's fact. I know. I've been in medicine over 40 years. I can say this. It's not what you think it is. It's controlled information, just like we found out the last 4 years. Everything's controlled.
Yes.
So we got to wake up and understand. I got to take responsibility for me. God gave me this body. I got to take care of me. I'm going to do it. That's the message I want to get out to people. Okay. Yes, listen to your doctor. Yes, listen to the dentist. I get that. But take more responsibility to make sure you don't end up on the table in the first place. That's what I want to get out. And we can do that. I know we can. So yeah, a lot of things that I'm going to tell you on this podcast, when you ask questions, you're like, oh, that's what the doctor told me. That's what they said. Yeah, I know. I do this for a living.
Yeah. So I got another question. Let me put it up there. There you go.
Okay. Question is, with people who are using blood type and using that for treatments. Okay. So interesting. One of the things I decided to do in my career was to become drugless. What does that mean? Again, if you have 3 PhDs and you have 2 doctorates, that's a lot of stuff, okay? But I didn't want to go the AMA route. I didn't want to be corralled into telling me how to practice medicine. I wanted to do it on my own. What does that mean? It means I gave up all medication. So I don't talk about medication. I don't dispense medication. Do I know about it? Of course. Do I want to? Nope, because I want to talk about naturals. So I do not diagnose. I do not prescribe. I do not treat. What I do is help you assess where you can have better outcomes and help you along the way. And we can show you scientifically how that's happening. I never treated anything. I made recommendations. Blood typing does help, but that's a very, very old concept that goes back to the 80s with Dr. DR.JAY. He first came up with this whole idea of categorizing people's blood types and then creating a diet specifically to that blood type. It can be helpful for some, but not for all. And that's because our genetic pools have been mixed up a lot more than what you realize. So there's different proteins, different antigens, different microbiomes in everybody. There is no cookie cutter. So people ask me, well, do I work off blood type? I'm going to say to them, no, I don't do cookie cutter. I'm going to do specific. I'm going to look at you as the snowflake that you are. There's only one of you. So we have to kind of take that question and dodge it a little bit. Say, number one, I'm not treating anything. And number two, yeah, blood type diet's okay, but I prefer to do things differently. If you've had success with it, Of course, anytime you ever find something that works for you, don't stop. Okay. If you're like, hey, I talked to a guy today in Kentucky. He was telling me how he had advanced prostate cancer, and we helped him a lot with his diet. And we did some supplements, long distance. And he got on the phone today. He says, basically, I'm eating whole tomatoes now. I never ate a tomato in my whole life, and I'm eating apples, and I'm blah, 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 blah. How's the cancer? Well, I'm in remission. I said, oh, so did you go the chemo radiation route? Nope. I just completely changed my diet, did everything you told me to do. And I went in, the doctor told me I'm in remission. He goes, that's a miracle. Praise God. And I said, yeah, it is. I said, you know why? Because you took responsibility. The person that fixed you was you. Think of that. God helps those who help themselves. Right? Don't put your health in somebody else's hands. Be very, very direct owner of that. God gave you this body, your soul, and your mind. You must protect it. You must take care of it. It's your job.
Hold on, let me put this up there. I know, right?
Oh. Okay, so yeah, Kurt makes a question. Is it Court?
Courtney. He's a pastor.
Okay, he says, I asked a question because my doctor told me they wouldn't tell me my blood type unless I needed blood transfusion or was having surgery. Wow. That sounds like a whole story in and of itself. You should be able to know your blood type at any time. It takes 10 seconds. That should not be private information. Oh, that's cute.
And I want to say to everybody,
Thank you for that.
Our job is to just give you guys the information. The Bible says, "My people perish because of lack of knowledge." Knowledge is information, and if you don't have the information to what to put in your body, then you're going to perish. And so, we're here to be that vehicle that you can say, hey, okay, this is what's happening to my body, or this is what's happening, or I feel this kind of way. And then like Dr. J said, y'all can go and do the AO scan and find out what's really going on with your body and let them get you back together. And here's the thing about it. Most of us upgrades our cell phone. We upgrade to the next one. Every time someone new one come out, we're upgrading our cell phone. Well, it's time to upgrade our bodies. It's time to upgrade our health. It's time to upgrade and know the things that take us to the next level. Because, when you get a new phone, it couldn't do this one, but it can do this. Don't you know when you put those herbs in your body, when you start to shift your body and allow your body to rebuild itself, then, oh my God, you're a whole new person. And so this is why we are here. Again, those that are watching, if you got questions, throw them up on the screen. Challenge. He loved this kind of stuff. Challenge him, and find out, how to take care of your body, how to take care of your children. I will give this testimony. One of our daughters was diagnosed with lupus, and she was feeling real sick, and my wife went and got her and brought her to the house and fed her nothing but herbs. She no longer have lupus. She was on disability. Now she's back working. So herbs work, and so when people understand, why didn't the doctor? Because those doctors will not tell you to take the herbs, because if they tell you to take herbs, then they lose out. So this is why we're doing what we're doing, and I'm excited. Go ahead, doctor, because I get excited, and especially when we bring the spiritual into it, and I love it.
So I'll give you, you just mentioned lupus, right? I mean, there's different forms of lupus, but the one you're mentioning is an autoimmune disorder, right? Systemic lupus erythematosus. Very interesting, because looking at autoimmune disorders as an example, right? 10 years ago, it was estimated that probably 1 in 20 people will end up with an autoimmune disorder today. Okay. Do you know what that statistic is now?
What?
1 in 4.
Wow.
They were way off. They said by By the year 2024, 1 in 10 people would have an autoimmune disorder. And guess what? It has now been classified because, and believe me, this gets really technical. It's something called ICD-10 codes and how the insurance, I worked in insurance, how the insurance industry works with the medical system and pharma. It's a nightmare. But anyway, it creates all of these diagnoses. And so now we're starting to pick up 1 in 4 people, their immune systems are attacking them. Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, systemic lupus, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, it's off the charts. Cancer is going to pass up heart disease as the #1 killer. It will happen this year. I said that 10 years ago and people laughed at me. I said, 10 years from now, cancer will pass up heart disease as the #1 killer. I said, not just in America, but worldwide. Guess what? Worldwide.
Wow.
So is cancer going down? Have we won the war? Did Nixon win his war? No, we've lost. It got worse. And we know what we did the last couple of years. It's gotten even worse. So now you're throwing in 5G, and now they're already talking about, it's not called 6G, but it's already out. It's crazy, the radiation that's coming at you. If you don't ante up, just like David said, if you're not setting the bar higher, you're going to be a victim. You're going to be snuffed out, and you got to pony up here. What does that mean? Even if you start eating nothing but organics and non-GMO and all the best foods, you're still going to have a hard time because the toxins and the chemicals coming at you are just more than your body can handle. God did not create us for this mess.
Yes.
So that's my mission. That's why I'm on here. Because, I'm just trying to get people to understand that man did this. Man. And a lot of evil people, are sacrificing the earth for profit. And they don't care what happens to you. They don't care what happens to your health. They don't care.
Okay, coming in like wildflowers now. Hold on. Let me put this one up. There you go.
Wow. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So I improve your methods. 29-year-old, 5'2", 300 total needed blood pressure and cholesterol. So give me 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, the numbers moved. Gave me another 6. Yes. Fantastic. Lost. Okay. So long story short, she's talking about how she went to the physician at a very young age and was overweight, right? And the doctor right away, you need blood pressure, you need cholesterol, you need, something for your triglycerides, your cholesterol, you need something for your weight, your blood pressure. Walk out there with 10 drugs. She said, no, give me some time. She said 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, the numbers moved. So she said to the doctor, give me another 6 months. And then later found out no longer a risk, right? She's lost body weight from 300 down to 128 pounds. Yes.
Now let me put the next one she put up. There you go.
Severe joint issues now. I know it's my diet. I've been through a lot and I'll let myself go. I'm so glad Pastor David had you on. We need more doctors like you. Thank you. I do want to talk to that. Okay, carrying all that weight around, yeah, you're right. You were going to put a lot of weight on those joints. One of the things I would recommend to you right away, if you're not doing it already, Melissa, is get into organic bone broth. You can also get collagen supplements. If you're going to do that, you make sure you check with David or I before you buy anything. I know what's good and what's not. But if you want to do it from a dietary perspective, it has to be bone broth, not broth. It has to have bone in it, right? Okay, that's the collagen. So they have chicken, they have beef, they have fish. I would bring that into your life on a daily basis if you can, because that collagen is needed by your ligaments. That will help you with the severe joint pain. It's one aspect that can help you. But yeah, if you lost half a human here. I mean, that's amazing. So if you need more help with those joints, you call us. We know what to do. But thank you for your comments, and thank you for echoing what I've been trying to say, is get involved in your own health. Great job. You saved your life. Another one I would definitely be reaching out to you. I've been type 1 diabetic for 14 years, was always told that you had to be born with it. That's not true. Type 1 diabetics, when I first got into medicine, was considered juvenile diabetes, right? Because it was always the children that got it. But no, today, full-grown adults, even skinny people can get type 1 diabetes where the pancreas completely stops making insulin. So type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder. We just got done talking about that. That's why that diagnosis of 1 in 4 has become so high. Think about that. How many 4 people do you know? Right? Think about your family, your friends. Now you're up to 8, a dozen, 20. 1 out of 4 is going to have an autoimmune disorder. That's nuts. It's not supposed to be that way at all. But anyway, type 1, that's definitely autoimmune. And if you've had it for 14 years, you know what you're doing, because by now you're the expert in diabetes management. Your physicians, trust me, don't always have the same knowledge you do. Why? Because they don't have the disease. You want to learn about how to manage type 1 diabetes, you talk to somebody who's already managing type 1 diabetes. Those are the people you talk to. But there are many things that can help you with, because I'll tell you this. No matter how good you get that hemoglobin A1C, no matter how good you get that fasting blood sugar, there's always bumps going on in the background because you're just not making insulin like the rest of us. And even with insulin pumps, you're never going to get completely good, perfect sugars. Therefore, you're going to have complications long term. So I've helped a lot of people with type 1 avoid kidney problems, eye problems, losing their toes, gangrene. You get the idea. Okay, so please reach out to us. We'd love to help you with that, so that you can, manage that disease and not have the long-term complications that unfortunately come with that. I know what I'm talking about because I lost my wife to type 1. Okay. All right. Do I have a Facebook page? Yes, I do. I have a couple of them. There's Jay Vanden Heuvel, just plain old Jay Vanden Heuvel. And then I have another one called Nature's Institute. Also have one called Jay Vanden Heuvel, PhD. I'm kind of directing people to Nature's Institute if they're interested in natural health topics. You can reach out to me, Jay Vanden Heuvel, Facebook, or you can reach out through David King and the Ministries as well to get a hold of us. I used to have 3 websites, but thanks to the powers of propaganda, I had to surrender 2 of them. Boy, they don't like it when you try to tell people how to heal naturally.
I know.
Yeah. I'm surprised I'm still alive. Anyway, that being said, I had to whittle it down. So naturesinstitute.com, you may want to write that down. Naturesinstitute, all one word, .com. Feel free to visit it. I'm revamping that website as I speak, but I'm going to make all my information that I've done in my entire career on that website for free. I'm going to be one of those people that doesn't want money for what I've done, because I am a doctor of humanitarian services. I hold that title most dear, Doctor of Humanitarian Services. What does that mean? I am in the service of humanity, in the service of the Lord. So, like David said, we got to get the information out. So feel free to visit naturesinstitute.com, and maybe David will put it up on the screen for you. I'm revamping it, and it might say something like there's a banner out there that there's a fee of, ignore that. Just go ahead and mess around in there, sign up with an email, whatever you want to do, because I'm going to be putting tons of stuff out there. I want to get this podcast on there as well with David, so we're going to blow that platform up. David, why don't you tell people where all this is going to be? Where else can we get this podcast, this kind of information on a monthly basis?
Well, this podcast is not only on Facebook, but you can get it off YouTube as well. We're on YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn. We'll be on after tonight. We'll be on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, and other small platforms that goes along with the podcast. So we're going to be always around. Our Kingdom Ecclesia Ministries website is being worked on as we speak right now. So we'll have our website up. If you are interested in the services, you have to contact me. I'll put the contact information up. You have to become a member, and then once you become a member, then you will have access straight to the doctor. So, but unless you want to go around not becoming a member and then just pay him his regular fee, then y'all can do that too. I ain't gonna stop him from making his money now. So if you don't want to be a member to get the members discount, then that's your choice as well. But we're going through Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries, and this is why we're doing this. This is why we set it up. This is why um, we are helping everybody. And so, let me just explain a little bit about Kingdom Holistic. When you become a member of Kingdom Ecclesia Ministry, it's a PMA, Private Ministry Association. You get access to Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries. You get access to Kingdom Family Ministry. So if you need some grieving counseling, marriage counseling, co-parenting counseling, or your children need counseling and prayer, you have access to all of those things, as well as the Kingdom Town Square, where we help you with business and everything. So you get a lot when you become a member. You have a lot of access to a lot of different things. Yet when you're joining the membership of Kingdom Ecclesia, you're not joining a church. You're joining a kingdom community, and you have access to everything that comes with that kingdom community. So we would talk to you about the cost of membership. And so if you're interested, call me at that number, or you can call my wife at the other number. But we want to get you guys um, taken care of. The beauty of it is this: Dr. J is in Florida, but he can do his AO scan with you while you at your kitchen table. You can be in your bedroom, your home office, and he can take care of. This is the beauty of it. And if you want a holistic chiropractor, we have that as well. So we have exactly what you need. And the other doctor, Dr. J, would you tell a little bit about the new doctor that's coming on board?
Yeah, Dr. Tara Hartman. She's a really good friend of mine. In fact, she just got back from Iceland.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this girl, she studies all over the world. Uh, Interesting. She does intravenous therapy, nutritional intravenous therapy. I'm in orthomolecular medicine, which means, the right molecule for the human body. But she does intravenous. She's actually medically qualified as a nurse practitioner and integrative medical doctor, Dr. Tara Hartman. She's in the Sheboygan area of Wisconsin. And wow, what an incredible find to have her, because she literally can, sit down, counsel you. I mean, we can do things that really put people on a fast track. For example, we can do intravenous vitamin C. There isn't any disease known to man that can't be tackled with vitamin C. Isn't that
Mm.
interesting? Yet your doctors will never tell you that. But yet, if you read everything from Linus Pauling, when he was a Nobel Prize winner, who basically discovered vitamin C's being plural, by the way, he said humans, they probably need about a gram a day. And this is back when he discovered it. A gram, think about that. That's 10,000 milligrams. 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I bet if you go to your pantry right now and pull out a box of cereal, it's going to say 60 milligrams. And yet, Linus Pauling, who discovered vitamin C, said you need 10,000 a day because you can't make it. You're a human. Humans cannot make vitamin C. They have to eat it or they die. So 60 milligrams will keep you away from scurvy, but it won't be optimum. We do not put vitamin C optimum into our food. So isn't that interesting? Something that simple. So what does Dr. Tara do? Let's say she's got a very serious condition. Maybe there's a lot of histamines in the body. Maybe there's, you're having problems with your immune system. She can literally give you, up to 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C intravenously. Boom, it's in the body that quick, and everything's happening from a healing perspective. Glutathione, which is a powerful master antioxidant. She's got all kinds of toys and tricks. So I get excited having these high quality doctors here as part of the Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries. You guys, you need to take advantage. I'm telling you, because these people, they get paid big money, and we're doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. We really are. You need to understand that, and no, a lot of these things. may not be covered by insurance, but they can be covered by your HSA. They can be covered by the fact that we're willing to donate our time and our services for fractions of what they're worth, because we want to be accessible to people who follow God. That's
Yeah.
I want to help us children, but I got to keep the lights on like anybody. Okay. Let's just be real. So, please take advantage of this, because Dr. Tara doesn't, need to do this. She just, when I told her what the mission of this was, she's like, I'm in. Didn't even hesitate. So when God is calling, you answer.
Yes. And so, I mean, and we just want you guys to know and understand and realize, a lot of people pray and say, God, what do I need to do to stay healthy? What do I need, God? And now God has given it to you. Take advantage of it. Your loved ones, your children. I think that a lot of times, because we've been programmed to say, well, run to the doctor, take this medicine, take this medicine, take this medicine. And I met a chiropractor that says I became a chiropractor because I watched my mother die on all this medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the condition that killed her; it was the medication that took her out. So I wanted to deal with the body to make sure that other people will have a better opportunity than my mom had. And so, and that's something that we have to look at and be like, okay, if we had this now let's just think for a minute. If we had this information, if we had access to something like this, how many of our loved ones would still might be on the earth? How many people would not be suffering right now, would be able to walk, have a healthy heart, have a healthy liver. I took some of the herbs and I didn't know what it was. I mean, what all it did. And then when I found out, wow, this purified my blood. Wow, this herb purified my liver. Wow, this herb. And I'm sitting there, the more I told you I hang with you, and the more I think about stuff, I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. Everything we need to walk healthy, God has already put it on earth.
Exactly.
So
here's a statistic I got to add to that. Less than 1% of every herb on planet Earth has been studied for medicinal value. Less than 1%. Okay? Of every plant. Less than 1%. From that, 80% of every medication you can name came from those herbs that were studied in that less than 1%.
Oh, wow.
So what does that tell you? Why aren't we studying the other 99% of all the plants on planet Earth before they disappear? Because the next cancer cure is already here.
Right.
It's amazing. I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, going on 18 years ago, and they gave me 5 years to live. And so here I am, a doctor. I got kidney cancer. What's the solution? Well, we'll just take your kidney out. There's a tumor inside the kidney. And I'm like, well, just hang on a minute. I have two, but just give that one up. It's no big deal. I said, yeah, but if I give one up and I have one left, what happens if I get cancer in the other one? Oh, well, then you're on dialysis and you die. That's not an option. So I went down to Milwaukee, right? I went down to Freighter. I got into the teaching hospital, University of Wisconsin. I spent $1,000 to walk through the door. I spent $1,000 to talk to the oncologist. Before I even said hi, it was $2,000 in the hole. I said, what can you do? He says, oh, I'm one of 3 nephrologists in the entire planet. I can open you up on the table, take your kidney out, open up the kidney, take that tumor out, sew your kidney back up, put the kidney back inside of you, sew you up, and hope you don't die on the table. His exact words. So I look at him, I go, that's not an option. So I prayed. And when God showed me my kidney, I saw it. There was a kidney in front of me, and inside the kidney was like another little bean. It was like a tumor. And looking back, he was showing me my kidney with a tumor, and he showed me, and it just started shrinking over time. It kind of like shrunk right in front of my face, real slow. Time changes when God's talking to you, and it disappeared. And I knew right away I was going to tackle that with natural health and I was going to live.
Mm.
And I did. And so I'm sitting here right now. I got both my kidneys. I'm completely cancer-free, and I did it completely with herbs. Did it with pawpaw, which is a phenomenal herb that grows right in Indiana. Pawpaw tree. That's what I did. I got rid of it. So, I'm not saying that's what you should do. But when I was faced with the decision of, do I get gutted like a fish and then get blasted with chemicals and radiation and hope I live? Or do I use God's medicine, and if I die, I die? That was the decision I had to make. But God showed me that I could do this, and I did it. And that's the hope I want to give to everybody that's listening is that no one's going to make a guarantee, and there's no magic herb that's going to make you all better. But there are many, many, many different plants on this planet, many different types of medicines and healing and faith that, if you added it to what you're doing, is going to get you through this life in a healthy manner and hopefully unscathed. And when you're doing that, then you're practicing God's love.
Yes.
So,
And
thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, you know, when you was talking, it took me back. One of the biggest things that we used to couldn't stand in our yard was dandelions. And since I've been in the holistic and everything in the herbs, I found out dandelions is really good for your body. And I'm sitting there like, we couldn't stand it. We wanted to get rid because why? We didn't have the information.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
should have got rid of the lawn and grown dandelions.
I know, right? And I'm sitting there like, dandelions?
One of the best liver purifiers, kidney purifiers there is on planet Earth. Full of minerals, full of iron, full of potassium. You should be eating that every day.
And I'm tripping because I'm sitting there like, we used to try to kill it.
I know.
It's amazing what you find out and everything. Well, we don't reach the hour. So what I want to do is I'm going to put you on the screen and let you have your way.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. It's a pleasure and it's an honor that you took the time to listen to what we had to say tonight. You know, all I'm trying to do is reach out and make the world a better place. So if you need help, you know, I'm here. Dr. Houston here, Dr. Hartman, Dr. King. We're all here to help you. Please reach out. You know, you're not doing this alone. Okay. And so we're here to help you, give you good advice, you know, good practice and good faith. So thanks. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys will tune in next month. We'll talk to you soon.
Amen. Thank you again. So for those, again, call me 414-676-0842. We'll get you signed up as a member, and then I will get you Dr. Jay's information. You can call and set up your appointment. I'm telling you now, you would thank me more than you ever thanked me before. Oh, and by the way, everybody, this Tuesday, I got a secret. My birthday, this Tuesday. So
wow.
I'll be 36 Tuesday. If you flip it over, it's 63. So Tuesday,
I was waiting for the lightning bolt to come through the window.
I know, right? Tuesday, I'll be 63 years old. I'm thanking God that I'm able to go up and down the court. I'm thanking God.
You're 36 and you know it. You're 36.
You know, 36. And so we want to thank you guys. We don't do this just to have a podcast. We don't do this just to try to get ratings or anything like that. We do this because I understand that if we, as the people of God, does not have the information, we will perish. And I know how the enemy would love to keep everything away from us so that he can destroy the temple. Because you're the church. The building is not the church. You are the church. And so you got to be bold. And no church wants to be in a place Nobody wants to be in a building that's raggedy. And I know the Holy Spirit don't want to be in a raggedy building. So we have to have our temple together, strong, so that we can have a nice place for the Holy Spirit to dwell, and that God can use us. So I'm excited, you guys. Dr. J, thank you again. Oh my God, thank you again. And again, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, until we meet again, we're here for you. Just remember that. Don't sell your life short. We are here for you. Until next time, God bless.
Craving some comfort food with a kick? Ashley's Q has you covered, serving up deliciousness every day of the week. Start your week with a taste of the Bayou. Our Tuesday seafood gumbo is packed with fresh flavors that will transport you straight to the coast. On Wednesdays, sink your teeth into our country fried beef brisket, crispy, tender, and oh so satisfying. Thursdays are all about the creamy, dreamy Alfredo. And when Friday rolls around, it's time for our famous fish fry. And on Saturdays, we are serving up juicy prime rib and savory pork chops that'll make your weekend unforgettable. And Sundays, it's soul food celebration. Hot chicken and waffles, meatloaf and gravy, fried chicken, turkey chops, barbecue ribs, oxtails, smothered neck bones, catfish, and that's just the beginning. Come find your flavor at Ashley's Q, located at 8718 West Lisbon Avenue. Call us at 414-935-2190. Ashley's Q, where every dish is cooked with love and every meal feels like home. See you soon.